Howdy everyone, this is the Klein Tools pinless moisture meter model ET140. To be honest, I've never used a meter without probes, so this will be a first for me. The manufacturer does conveniently ship it in packaging that requires total destruction in order to open. Once inside, we see that it comes with a 9-volt battery, the meter, and an instruction set. Sadly, no case. Initial impressions on build quality are good, not amazing. A lot of Klein tools that have sort of this general design are a rubber overmolded device. This is not. This is just hard plastic. So I would, in a perfect world, like to see that rubber overmold, especially for something that is used in a shop type environment. But other than that, the buttons have nice detents on them and should work well. The included battery is a single tool install. Just your basic number 1 or 2 Phillips bit will remove the cover. And then that same bit will button it all up once we're powered up. Alright, operation is very easy. We just have our big center on-off button on the front. Turn that on. We can switch between drywall, masonry, hardwood, and softwood. And then of course we do have our hold button over here if you want to hold that reading. And we have a little relative range right there. So yeah, very, very easy to use. Okay, I've got 3 samples here to test our moisture meter. We do have a piece of kiln dried maple to test our hardwood settings. We've got a piece of pressure treated wood fresh off the pile, so it should be very wet to test our softwood settings. And we've got a retaining wall block cap that's been sitting out in the rain for several weeks, so it should be pretty wet to test our masonry settings. And, well, I've already done this off camera, so it's not going to be a surprise to me, but just let me show you what I found, starting with our hardwood. So we'll switch it over to hardwood, and we're seeing 6.6, 6.7%, which is not at all surprising. It is kiln dried, but it has been sitting on and off in my semi-humid garage sometimes, so the meter tells me it's dry, so that's pretty much exactly what I would expect. If we switch it over to softwood, it overloads, which is also not a surprising result considering this is some very wet pressure treated wood. And let me double check one thing here. I believe the range for hardwood and softwood, hardwood is 0 to 35% and softwood is 0 to 55%. So the fact that this is out of range and overloads is not a surprise at all. Switching it over to masonry, and I get an overload. Now I'll be honest, that is very weird to me, because according to the manual, the range for drywall and masonry is 0 to 100%. So to my way of thinking, how could this be out of range? If it was literally sopping, dripping wet, I would expect it to just read 100%. I don't know. I don't know if I'm thinking about that incorrectly, but to me, something with a range of 0 to 100% should never be, quote, out of range. So exactly why that's overloading on masonry, I couldn't tell you guys. And finally, testing some drywall here, we are showing about 11%, which our meter says is dry. Not at all surprising because, well, it's in my garage and I should hope there is no water on it. All right, so a minute ago I showed you guys what softwood looks like. It's an overload when it's dripping wet with pressure treating chemicals. Let me show you what it looks like when it's pretty dry. This is a 2x4 that's been sitting in my garage for, I don't know, a year at least. So I'm set on softwood and we're only showing 6.6%, which is indicated as dry. All right, so final thoughts on the Klein Tools ET140 pinless moisture meter. I really like how it works on wood. It has a hardwood and a softwood setting, and I have no reason to believe it's not accurate. I'm not so thrilled about how well it works on masonry, primarily because it should have a range of 0 to 100%, yet it overloads, so I can't envision how that works. Drywall, I have no reason to believe it's not accurate. However, there is one thing I want to read to you guys out of the manual. It says the material should be at least 3/4 inches thick, which is the depth of the sensor penetration. Well, let's think about that for a second. I mean, residential drywall is a 1/2 inch thick, and commercial drywall is 5/8 thick, so that doesn't meet our 3/4 inch thick requirement. So that's a little weird for that. So I guess my final conclusion is, if you're using this on wood, I think it's a great tool, especially considering it, you know, if you're working with something like nice hardwood, you're not going to leave those little pin indentations in there. Masonry and drywall, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I might consider a different unit. All right, take care.